Welcome to Behavior of Money, where we explore how psychology, behavior, and real-life experiences shape every financial decision you make. Most money decisions are not made with calm logic and neat spreadsheets. They are made at dinner tables, inside offices, and during late-night conversations, places where memories, emotions, pride, fear, marketing, ego, and strange incentives collide and form a story that feels right to us. This explains why money decisions are so hard and why so many people appear to misbehave financially. But there's another powerful reason we rarely talk about. This entire subject is incredibly new. Money itself is ancient. King Alyattes of Lydia, in what is now modern-day Turkey, is believed to have created the first official currency around 600 BC. But the way we use money today, especially saving and investing, is built on ideas that are surprisingly young. Take retirement. By the end of 2018, there were $27 trillion in U.S. retirement accounts, making retirement savings the single biggest force behind how everyday Americans save and invest. Yet the idea that people are entitled to retire is barely 2 generations old. Before World War II, most Americans worked until they died. That wasn't unusual, it was expected. In fact, more than 50% of men aged 65 and older were still working until the 1940s. Social Security was created to change that, but its early benefits were modest. When Ida Mae Fuller received the very first Social Security check in 1940, it totaled just $22.54, about $416 adjusted for inflation. It wasn't until the 1980s that the average monthly Social Security payment exceeded $1,000 in today's dollars. Even then, the situation was grim. Until the late 1960s, more than 25% of Americans over age 65 were officially classified as living in poverty. There's a common belief that everyone used to have a pension. That idea is wildly exaggerated. According to the Employee Benefit Research Institute, in 1975, only 1/4 of Americans aged 65 or older received any pension income at all. And for those who did, pensions accounted for just 15% of household income. As far back as 1955, the New York Times noted the growing desire but persistent inability to retire, writing, "Everyone talks about retirement, but apparently very few do anything about it." It wasn't until the 1980s that the belief truly took hold that everyone deserves a dignified retirement and that achieving it is a personal responsibility. Since then, the expectation has been clear: you must save and invest on your own. And here's how new that idea really is. The 401k, the backbone of American retirement savings, did not exist until 1978. The Roth IRA didn't arrive until 1998. If the Roth IRA were a person, it would barely be old enough to drink. So it shouldn't shock us that many people struggle with retirement planning. We aren't irrational, we're inexperienced. We're beginners. The same applies to education. In 1940, fewer than 1 in 20 Americans over age 25 had a bachelor's degree. By 2015, that number had risen to 1 in 4. During the same period, average college tuition increased more than 4-fold after inflation. When something so expensive and important expands this quickly, mistakes are inevitable. That's why student loan problems exploded over the last 20 years. There simply isn't enough generational experience to learn from. We're improvising. The pattern repeats everywhere. Index funds are less than 50 years old. Hedge funds only became widespread in the last 25 years. Even consumer debt, mortgages, credit cards, and car loans didn't become common until after World War II, when the GI Bill made borrowing accessible to millions. Dogs were domesticated 10,000 years ago and still carry instincts from their wild ancestors, so it's no mystery why humans navigating brand new financial systems still behave like amateurs. We're not broken, we're just early in the experiment. If this video changed the way you think about money, please like, share, and subscribe to Behavior of Money for more insights like this.